In Venezuela, August 19th marks the 25th anniversary of the swearing-in ceremony of the leader of the Bolivarian Revolution, Hugo Chavez, as president of the newly formed Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. In El Salvador, human rights organizations reported that over 435 people have died in prison during the exception regime. And in Pakistan, rescue teams continue the search for over 150 people missing amid flooding caused by monsoon storms in the northwest. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. August 19th marks the 25th anniversary of the swearing-in ceremony at the Federal Legislative Palace of the leader of the Bolivarian Revolution, Hugo Chavez, as president of the newly formed Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. It was on July 30th, 2000, when what the people knew as the mega elections were held following the approval of a new constitution that established the creation of a social and legal state. This election process confirmed Commander Hugo Chavez as president of the country with more than 59% of the votes counted. A month after this triumph, the leader of the Bolivarian Revolution reiterated, as he did in 1999, his unwavering commitment to the changes ordered in the constitutional text with a view to consolidating the new republic. And Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro met Monday with governors and mayors from the Great Patriotic Pole, Simón Bolívar, and the United Socialist Party to establish strategic guidelines. The meeting was held in Caracas' Teresa Carreño Theater, where the president urged to move on with the so-called 7 Transformation Plan to, among other things, make Venezuela free of criminal gangs and drug dealers. The Bolivarian head of state also highlighted the importance of the upcoming Congress of the United Socialist Party on September 11th and the 12th, which he described as an extraordinary event with a popular and revolutionary character. The president also condemned the attacks carried out by Washington against Latin American migrants and called them racist and discriminatory.
And we say, we affirm, and reality proves it, that we have passed successfully all the tests of the imperialist war against Venezuela, and that Venezuela is moving toward high levels of growth, peace, prosperity, harmony, and tolerance. And that according to all polls, more than 80% of the respondents wants us to work to address the problems of the people. That more than 90% rejects extremist and fascists' positions. These are round numbers. More than 90% rejects any type of fascist, interventionist, and putschist formula against Venezuela.
Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro said that Bolivia will recover its path sooner than later and reiterated Venezuela's commitment to stand by its neighbor in all its future struggles.
From the times of Bolivar, Bolivia is and will be an unbridled love for freedom. Bolivia will recover its path with unity sooner rather than later, and the people of Bolivia know that they can count on the revolutionary people of Venezuela in all its struggles for resistance and future emancipation. Venezuela will always stand by Bolivia, by the ordinary man, by the ordinary woman, forever and ever, for the rights of the Bolivian people.
President Nicolás Maduro also referred to relations with Colombia and hoped for a soon Colombian-Venezuelan union.
The time has come to activate the binational zone number 1 in everything related to mobility, connection, connectivity, transportation, and trade on the Venezuelan side. We must redouble our efforts in the direct fight against violent and criminal gangs throughout the vast region, from Táchira up to Castilla Day, which we all know very well, and continue to reach out to the people of Colombia, the people of La Guajira, of El Cesar, and of North de Santander, to continue extending our loving, unifying, and Bolivarian hands to the ordinary people, to those who want peace, to those who want the border to be better and function better, to reach out to all economic sectors that buy and sell products, that invest, to reach out to all military and police forces to guarantee a full cooperation, and that the entire region from Táchira to Zulia become a powerful zone of peace, coexistence, and Colombian-Venezuelan unity. We want Colombian-Venezuelan unity in Bolivar. We want peace and the communion of efforts.
In the Dominican Republic, immigration authorities detained over 570 Haitian migrants, of whom 458 were deported through different border control checkpoints. According to official reports, operations were carried out in coordination with public security forces, mainly in the city of Santo Domingo. The repatriation process included 296 undocumented Haitians through the Dajabon border crossing, 108 through Elias Piña, 44 through the Pedernales, and 10 through Jimani. The deported migrants were handed over to Haitian authorities after completing the administrative procedures as well as the relevant security measures, providing them with transportation and necessary medical care. We now have our first break. Remember, you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates. We're going to be right back. Welcome back. In El Salvador, human rights organizations reported that over 435 people have died in prison during the exceptional regime implemented by Nayib Bukele. The complainants assert that 94% of the deceased did not fit the so-called gang member profile and died with total impunity. They specified that the causes of death include abuse and neglect by prison guards. Human rights defenders assert that of the 90,000 people detained under a state of emergency, it is estimated that at least 40,000 are innocent. Yet, despite reports of human rights violations, the state of emergency remains in effect since March 2022 through extensions decreed by President Bukele. And agricultural workers in Panama continue to protest against a wave of illegal dismissals and other violations of their labor rights. The Banana Workers Union reported that irregularities have been found in the payment of compensation to employees who had worked for the company for between 20 and 40 years and were dismissed illegally. This claim comes after the company Chiquita stopped operating in Bocas del Toro amid a strike over labor demands. The company justifies the dismissal of more than 4,000 workers by citing an alleged loss of more than $75 million. And Brazilian Supreme Federal Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes stated that they would not give in to pressure from the U.S. government regarding the trial of former President Jair Bolsonaro. Brazil faces a series of pressures from the Donald Trump administration due to the criminal proceedings against Bolsonaro, including the imposition of 50% tariffs, the application of the Magnitsky Act, and against Alexandre de Moraes himself, as well as the cancellation of U.S. visas for Brazilian authorities. It should be noted that Alexandre de Moraes stated that the right thing will be done, the evidence will be analyzed, and those who should be convicted will be convicted, and those who should be acquitted will be acquitted. In Colombia, the animated film Hello Frida premiered in theaters across the country, sharing the story of the iconic Mexican painter Frida Kahlo. The film offers a glimpse into the life of the renowned artist, exploring her childhood and creative awakening, and discovering the ways in which she transformed paint into color. The film, inspired by Sophie Foscher's children's book and illustrated by Mexican artist Cara Carmina, the narrative revives Frida's personal letters, her diaries, and the imaginary world of the Blue House, connecting them with the world full of fantasy and art. Hello Frida arrives in Colombia after thrilling audiences at the Morelia Film Festival in Mexico and the Annecy Festival in France.
Por fortuna, el mundo está cambiando, le guste o no. Si mi hija decidió ser médica.
China's 2025 book fair is shaping up an important event for global literary exchange and the promotion of cultural dialogue. The event, held in the city of Yuanzhou, features an international cultural exhibition hall showcasing 20,000 publications from 23 countries and regions, thereby promoting cooperation in the literary field. In this edition, the fair has brought together more than 1,500 publishers and nearly 500,000 types of books and creative cultural products. Jose Borgino, Secretary General of the International Publishers Association, highlighted the importance of the fair in cultural development and international communication, emphasizing that cultural dialogue is essential in the publishing industry. And also in China, authorities reported at least 2 people dead and 3 others injured after a building structure collapsed during a festival in the southwestern province of Sichuan. Local authorities confirmed the death after the roof collapsed at a fair in the town of Mianzhu. For its part, the Mianzhu County Office pointed to weather conditions as a possible cause of the accident. However, investigations are ongoing to determine the reasons for the accident. And on Monday, Indian Foreign Minister Subrahmanyam Jaishankar met with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi with the aim of rethinking the global and regional agenda. Jaishankar emphasized that his country's relations with China are based on 3 fundamental pillars: mutual respect, mutual sensitivity, and mutual interest. He also emphasized that in order to overcome a difficult period in their relations, a frank and constructive approach is necessary on both sides. At the same time, he insisted that they had productive discussions on economic and trade issues, pilgrimages, interpersonal contacts, exchange of river data, border trade, connectivity, and bilateral exchanges. Now we have our second break. As always, we invite you to join us on Facebook, where you will find our latest news, our live broadcasts, and so much more. So hit that subscribe button and activate the notification bell to be up to date on everything happening around the world. We're going to be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Palestinian authorities reported Tuesday that the death toll in Gaza rose to 62,004, with 156,230 injured since the beginning of the Israeli genocide in October 2023. According to local authorities, the Israeli forces have killed 26 Palestinians in the last 24 hours. Of that total, 4 died while waiting to receive humanitarian aid. In total, the Zionist regime has killed almost 2,000 people and injured over 14,000 while looking for aid. Furthermore, the Palestinian Health Ministry reports 3 more deaths due to malnutrition in Gaza, bringing the total of hunger-related deaths to 266, including 122 children. The Israeli regime has been carrying out a genocide war against Palestinians in Gaza for almost 2 years, implementing an ethnic cleansing, most of the victims being women and children. The Australian government condemned Israel's decision to revoke visas of its diplomatic staff following the announcement of the recognition of Palestine as a sovereign and independent state. The action comes in response to the cancellation of the visa of far-right Israeli politician Simcha Rothman, whose party is part of the Benjamin Netanyahu's ruling coalition. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar announced the cancellation of the visas of Australian representatives to the Palestinian Authority. In this regard, Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong described the move as unjustified and urged dialogue and diplomacy to settle the impasse. And rescue teams in Pakistan continue the search for over 150 people missing amidst flooding caused by monsoon storms in the northwest of the country. According to emergency service spokesman Mohammad Sohail, the death toll in the Buner district has risen to 695 since the start of the rainy season. He explained that search and rescue efforts are being extended to remote areas to find people who were swept away by the current and landslides. Meanwhile, residents claim that most of the fatalities were caused by delays in evacuation notifications by emergency agencies. And Italy's Ventina Glacier, one of the biggest in northern Lombardy region, has melted so much due to climate change that geologists can no longer measure it the way they have for the past 130 years. After this year's summer, geologists discovered that the simple stakes they use as benchmarks to measure the glacier's retraction each year are now buried under rock slides, snow melt, and debris. This had made the entire terrain too unsteady for future in-person monitoring visits. Lombardy Glaciological Service will now use drone imagery and remote sensing to keep track of ongoing shrinkage. The melting has accelerated in recent years, with the glaciers losing 431 meters in the last 10 years, with nearly half of that since 2021.
The Lombardy Glaciology Service has inherited the measurement of the Ventina Glacier in Valmolenco, the longest measurement of a glacier in Lombardy. It is the longest in terms of years because it began in 1895 and continued uninterrupted for 130 years until last year. This year, we were unable to find the measuring point installed in 2022-2023. As the entire area in front of the glacier tongue has collapsed and is subject to landslides and instability of the glacier's sides due to the rapid melting of the glacier. Over the last 130 years, the Ventina Glacier has receded by more than 17 kilometers. At the end of the 19th century, this glacier came very close to the pro-glacial plain near the Poro and Ventina refuges, but now it has receded by more than 17 kilometers. The problem is the shrinkage that has occurred over the last 30 years and especially in the last 10 years. When the glacier lost over 400 meters in linear terms, which is roughly equivalent to 4 football fields placed one behind the other. This has led to a destabilization of the glacier's sides. In the last 3 years alone, the glacier has lost 200 linear meters.
And one of the worst forest fire crises in the history of Spain claimed the life of at least 4 firefighters and several volunteers who were participating in the firefighting efforts. The situation in the northwest of the country, driven by an intense heat wave, keeps more than 40 active fires raging, mainly in the communities of Galicia, Castilla and León, and Extremadura, leaving dozens dead due to the high temperatures. The fires have already burned an unprecedented area. According to data from the European Forest Fire Information System, more than 851 acres have been affected by fire this year. The Spanish government responded to the crisis by deploying over 1,400 military personnel from the Military Emergency Unit to help fight the fires. And in Mexico, a young whale was found dead on the shore of Tijuana beaches near Lifeguard Station 14, while authorities prepared to remove and analyze the mammal. The mammal was stranded on the sand. Local authorities have not confirmed the causes of the death of the specimen, although the intervention of specialized marine rescue personnel and environmental agencies is expected to carry out the removal and analysis of the body. After confirming the discovery, the fire department notified the relevant authorities to take responsibility for the case. Among the agencies notified, the Ministry of the Environment and Natural Resources and the Federal Attorney General Office for Environmental Protection. Like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. So join us on our social medias on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For teleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.